What is up, citizens of Fabledom, Fablings? Welcome back. My name is Shinchi42, and in today's video, I'm going to give you guys 5 tips on how you can keep your Fablings happy and alive. So tip number 1 is simple. Keeping your Fablings full. What do I mean by full? Keeping them with food. Making sure that they always have food. As you can see, I have vegetable, I have grain, and I have some bread. I've got some fish. Pretty much I got everything in here to keep them satisfied because you do not want to make your Fablings hungry. They will eventually die out of starvation. So you will need to build some farms. As you can see, I have built some farms in here. 1 farm, 2 farm, a lot of farm actually. There's a farm over here, and there's just... you need to build a lot of farm, basically, is what I'm saying, because you need to feed them. As you grow your city, you need to have more farm in the city so that you can provide food. Now, another way for you to provide extra food is by having a pigsty, and that's going to give you meat. And then there is also a large chicken coop that is going to produce some chicken eggs for you. Make sure to put some workers in there so that you can get some eggs and start and get that going. And then another thing is that eventually you will be able to build a grape farm, and then you'll have to use a juicery for that. Now, with the farm, there is 2 ways that you can do this. You can, of course, you can build a farm and then plant a vegetable or plant wheat. So you can either choose one of them, which one you want to do. There's also fisherman's hut in here as well, that you can basically fish, right, and get some of those fish. And one thing that I would say is that once you have the wheat, you will then need the wheat to produce some eggs. You will also need wheat to produce some flour through the windmill, and then the flour can be turned into a bread by having a bakery using 2 flours for 1 bread. Now, with that being said, you will need a granary because you will need to be able to store your food. All right, this is providing storage for food, especially useful in winter when crops are sparse. So make sure to have some granary. I would recommend to put them near where the settlers are or where the Fablings are so that they can easily transport that as well. Now, another thing that I would say that is very important to keeping your Fablings happy and alive is coal. Now, man, I struggled with this earlier. So I made a massive production of coal in here. As you can see, I have a whole coal mine in here. And look at my stockpile. I got a lot of coal. So yeah, make sure to have a stockpile as well, because this is where you're going to store your resources here in the game. Now, when you have a coal mine or coal maker, you will need some wood. So you'll need to have a lot of lumber as well, lumber camp. So make sure to have lumber camp to produce those wood that will be needed to produce coals to keep your villagers or to keep your Fablings happy and warm during the winter. As you can see, I just click on a random homestead, and this Fablings have some coal for the winter, which is good. It makes me really happy that they have, they have what they need to keep themselves warm on the winter, because nobody wants to be super cold during the winter, right? Now, the next thing that I want to say is that, just to reiterate things again, is to make sure to build some granary and as well as some stockpile. Very important that you guys do that, because you are going to need them in the time when, especially on winter, and just basically for storage, really. Now, the townhouses do store a little bit in here, but yeah, if you have some excess, then they'll be able to just grab it from here. And you can also modify on how you want it to be with your logistics setup here into the game. I haven't really gone to the nitty-gritty of it, but I think eventually I will kind of get more into the detail and be more optimized onto the things in here. I feel like I need to restart, actually, because I feel like I'm not very optimized, and I feel like there's too much to fix now at this stage. So I've learned a lot so far. Maybe we'll restart. We don't know yet. Now, the desirability is another thing, very important in the game. So to keep your Fablings happy, so if you click one of the residents, you see their happiness, right? So as you can see here, I built an embassy. The embassy provides a good amount of desirability into the game. There is also in here in the amenities, you can select either an inn, cafe, street theater, puppet show, grand theater, concert hall, these are going to increase the desirability of the area. So if you build that, you will see there is a big grid, and that's going to increase the desirability of whatever Fablings living in that area. Now, there are, of course, other buildings, for example, like the embassy, that also had increased the desirability. So that will be right here onto the essentials. The hospital increased 5 desirability, Messengers Guild 5, embassy, bank, right? The Laborers Guild in the Laborers Hut does not give you desirability. Another way for you to keep your Fablings alive, as I mentioned earlier, building the hospital. This is very important because having the hospital will keep those sick Fablings healthy. They're going to cure them. As you can see here, I've got one patient right now. Now, you can only employ a commoner in here. You cannot employ a peasant in the hospital. So pay attention to that. As you're building, you'll have peasants and commoners. I'm not yet in the stage where I have nobles, but eventually we will get to that point. But these are 5 tips to keep your Fablings alive and happy. So hopefully this is going to be very helpful. If you guys like this helpful video, make sure to smash that like button. If you're enjoying Fabledom, make sure to subscribe as well, because I'm really loving this. For 20 bucks, I think it was pretty worth it. I really enjoyed this game so far, and I love strategy games.